The real winners are the friends we made along the way. Big. Yeah, all rise.
Oh.
All right.
Rise from your grave.
I don't know how much you got in you, GDead, but if you want to hang out for a bit. So, Heywoah, some things have happened.
Oh, it's GDead. Yo.
Yo!
I put a face to the name. Not bad.
So, we're sitting at $6,096. So we unlocked all the Heywoah things except for the super secret otaku cast, which is like the.
Let me take a sip of my coffee here. Ooh. Tastes official. I checked my mail this month, and this thing might have been sitting in there for a while. But
I said that on your birthday.
I
said that on your fucking birthday.
So yes.
Look, I don't go outside, right?
Like, okay, so I bought it on your birthday, and like with the mug making, it could have taken a month, but still, dude, that's outrageous.
Yeah, there were like 3 YouTube checks in there from 2-month periods. It was quite the mail day. I don't like to just willy-nilly check the mail. You want it to be special, you know?
I mean, I guess it really comes down to how far away your mailbox is, right?
Oh, geez, at least 300 feet?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a car ride, man.
As long as he's not drinking. No, the Pepsi milk was reserved for like me and Rocco, apparently. Don't drink your painting water. Yeah.
I personally know that information. It wasn't Pepsi for me. But this.
It was a savage, though.
Like you've seen the future too.
happen.
Like you've, yeah.
Well, it's in my past. It's a closed loop, as they say. But that's for one of the many story times of the next block. Remind me. I'm told. Let me click on this Tiltify here. Yeah, 6,000 burgers.
Mm-hmm.
What do we got here? 5,000 was the original goal. Destroyed it. Get owned. 55 hundo. Heywoah tier stream of Heywoah tier streams. I can do that. I got 2 prepared. 6,000 burgers. Heywoah buys a new hat. Hey, can I? Kind of new with Discord. Can I stream my screen?
Yes. Yeah, you can do that. You can. So I'm not going to rat who did it. Like, this was not a, like, tell him I want him to know it was me type thing. This is one of those. It's the opposite. It's like, don't snitch on me, bro. So I won't snitch. But like, it wasn't just one taking credit and telling me not to snitch. There was like 20 people who came over from your stream to my live, like, figuring out milestone stream to tell me they wanted to, like, coerce you into buying a new hat and how could we make that happen. And so apparently raised $6,000 for Mental Health America. And
all right, let me see if I can't share my screen here in preparation for buying a new hat.
SJ, I feel like SJ Arcade is like is snitching without snitching directly. Here we go. Hang on, I gotta click the watch stream button.
Yeah, I was like, what?
I see a black screen and a cursor.
What?
Yeah. Select a different monitor?
Or, yeah, because sometimes it gives you, like, an app to select or, like, a monitor select or... No, none of that.
Yeah, it did. This is the right monitor. Damn. Right, meme ruined, I guess. Here, I'll just send it to you.
Okay. Where are you sending it?
It's probably because... right. It's probably because my monitor's resolution is insane, and it requires me to have, like, a stream or a Discord, like, super or something.
We've got Nitro here. Like, couple people.
The nitrous.
Yeah,
All right.
we
Anyway,
got the
I'm
nitro.
going to send it in this.
Oh.
Yep, I've done it several times today.
By the way, I think my favorite part of our last block was the fact that we just talked about riffs for like an hour.
Yeah, just one solid banter about riffs.
Riffs.
Yeah.
Dan did not know what he was signing up for.
There we go. That's a screen cap.
Well, that was like that. What was it? The where'd you send
That's
the
a
screen
screen
cap to?
cap.
Heavy Magic, or General? Where is it? Oh, here we go. Oh, he got it.
You came prepared. If you want to show chat somehow.
I've got it. Yeah, no, I clicked on it. Bypass. I'll leave that up.
Oh, I'm gonna have to hit the
Ready
play
to
button.
blast,
aren't I?
boys.
He got it, boys. CJ Busta.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Yeah, we got him. He's done it. Big. Yeah. Let's fucking go. Bypass girl, best waifu. Like, look at this. Like, y'all came in to make this happen. You're like, yo, the secret stretch goals. If we get $1,000 extra, Heywoah buys a new hat. Bypass girl is the one and true waifu.
Yeah, Bypass girl must be protected. She's she's delicate. A little off-brand, but top-tier waifu for sure.
All right. I'm gonna
All right.
sign out like I was talking about earlier. My daughter and my puppies
Yep,
will
yep.
not take pity on me.
Yeah, good
And
night,
it is,
man.
it's an hour later over here, so it's 1 something now.
That's a proper amount of time to stay up. Good job, man. I'm proud of you.
Hey, GDead 909, thanks for stopping by.
All right, later, guys.
Later. Bypass hat. I love this. Who cares? Who cares about charity? We just wanted the hat.
Yeah, that's charities are like hats with extra steps. You heard it here first.
This is a $6,000 and like this is a $6,020 hat.
While Lord Joel stands for Yu-Gi-Oh! Whoa, hey. Hades has a fellow Yukiko enjoyer in chat.
See, they tried to like rat they tried to rat him out by saying like the person who like was the main thrust of getting you to buy a new hat likes Yukiko, and apparently it was going to be one person, but also Joel stands Yukiko, so we will never know which of the two was like the main thrust of like the spear of destiny toward hat.
Oh, it's Hades. Yeah. I'm a betting man. I'll slide those chips up. I'm all in.
Naoto is the
Naoto
truth.
is the truth. No lies detected.
Yukiko not flat enough. Oh my god. Oh, this is the content you wanted, everybody. This is it. We wait until all the children go to bed, midnight, bust out the big guns. Heywoah Meph dream stream.
Yukiko can never be hat. Yeah, it's sometimes the world is cruel, you know.
Kia ora, everyone.
It's true, I did need the bypass. It took a few tries to find a company that wasn't paying attention enough to let me just straight up rip off Adidas, you know? It took 4 tries after that one day where I tried twice. And always, like, even after, like, they charged my credit card, 2 different companies did, and then after that, they're like, you've been issued a refund, and here's why. And I'm like, let me guess. One of those old-fashioned copyright infringements that could get your company sunk because I want a meme hat from a video game made in 2011. All right.
Thank you, Paul. Yeah, my hair is like it's just getting like weirder and weirder. Like it's just been shifting and moving positions as the day has gone on. I was at one point wearing my hat. Oh, so yeah, we actually have 3 prizes now. Heywoah, things have changed since I last talked to you yesterday.
Oh, okay. What's up?
So we're getting 3 draws tonight. It's going to be Heywoah TTS. So one lucky winner will get to play versus you. This was suggested via the committee. Apparently, this was something you said on Warhammer Weekly. So,
Yeah, I did say that in passing. It's true.
yeah, so someone gets to play you in Heywoah TTS. And then we've got Warhammer Quest box set, which is the Silver Tower and the Guns Over Hammerhall or Shadows Over Hammerhall, something along those lines. So it's those 2 Warhammer Quest in the Saran wrap, full boxes. And then, so that's drawing 2. And then drawing 3 is the 2 draws at the borders that you've seen around the tables to make the big tables into the AOS 3.0 tables. So those are the laser cut little
Should I be writing this down?
I'll do the drawing for this one. I'm gonna hang out with you for a couple hours, and then then when Measured Gaming shows up, I'll peace out. I'll help get them in here, and talk to them for a little bit, and then I'll go lay down for a little bit, and yeah. So
Nice.
Tarkin Rex says, I don't need my Heywoah TTS prize. I got my prize yesterday. SJ says,
we played a game Friday against
go.
Hallow Heart, Cities of Sigmar plus Gotrek. Was it 20 or 30? I think it was 30 Iron Drakes. Plus, stuff. Pretty good, actually. I managed to instantly delete every Iron Drake. And people in the chat were like, game over. And they were way fucking early on that one. But I think they were memeing because it was obvious that they were too early on that one.
Could have been.
And then I performed a science experiment, which is how based exactly is Gotrek? Like really now, right?
Mm-hmm.
How based is he? And in my defense, there was a Gotrek double turn, but pretty fucking based, as in 3 Frost Lords dead.
Yeah, like Turbo Chad.
Game actual over.
Yeah.
I did 2 damage to him, and then he killed basically every relevant unit in my army in a turn. 2 turns, I guess. But
I don't think ogres can beat Gotrek. Straight up, I don't think Maw tribes can beat him. He single-handedly will just solo your army. Your only help is to just chaff him with saber cats and bullshit, right? And then.
Well, so I could have indeed played smarter, but I'm streaming the game, so you have to make it entertaining, right? And I also kind of wanted to see how bad Gotrek really was on the table. It could have been one of those games where all the monsters spread out. I'm moving away from him. Yetis are piling in 6 just over and over to simply waste his time. I'm getting more battle tactics every round because I'm getting them with monsters. But I probably have to concede at least one objective, at least the majority of objectives to him in doing so.
Mm-hmm.
And so it probably ends up close, but I think Gotrek just hungry hippos everybody. And I can't really get away from it. But it's probably closer than that game was normally.
This has got to be you, right? Heywoah Plus, and it's black and white right now. Oh. Your other YouTube channel, Heywoah Plus.
Yeah, we couldn't. So I couldn't resist the memes. The VOD channel is Heywoah Plus.
It's not a meme. It's so important to your brand. It's the opposite of what I'm doing. You have to have your cash cow videos that are on brand, algorithm friendly, separate from just exporting your Twitch stuff, or it's just going to nuke your chances of visibility.
No, I mean calling it Heywoah Plus.
Oh,
like Warhammer Plus.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No.
Even ripping off their image and just putting my name on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't resist the meme.
Yeah. Warlord Joel just 2.9
the
Gotrek with
channels-
Yetis. Yeah.
What?
2.9 Gotrek with Yetis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. You might could beat him with Noblars, but that would not be big. I agree. I wouldn't want to take the coward's way out either. Like run Noblars.
I think he can chew through Nobblers in 2 turns. Yeah.
Mhm.
And even if he does, like, you're in playing with Nobblars, you have to like um, be kind of worse against everybody else. So
Mhm.
it's like a trade-off, right? Like, do you build your list on purpose to deal with Gotrek and make yourself worse against everybody else? I don't know. Unsure.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm changing much moving forward. It's like if my opponent's playing Gotrek, I just play better and
Yeah.
roll 6s lol, right?
Right? No, just roll 6s. You just got to rip to like 2 back-to-back donation wins, like fucking the Lord Whale just did.
He is called Lord Whale.
Yeah, yeah. Texas showing up big tonight. I assume he's from Texas, so he's a whale. All them oil barons.
You never forget your first Gotrek. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
It was a fun one though. The dude's like so cool. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I like when models are supposed to be like amazing in the lore, and then on the table they actually are as well.
Yeah.
There's none of that weirdness where it's like this guy is so fucking good, and then like you see his rolls and you're like, nope.
Yeah. No, that happens far too much, honestly. Like Gotcha could probably stand to go up some points. I'd concede, but don't you dare nerf him. Like he should always be the Terminator. It's just what do you give up to have the Terminator in your army, right? Like,
Yeah.
So. Right. If you play Gotrek, you just gotta keep away as much as you can and feed him low quality units when you can't. True story.
Yeah. It's that it just has to happen. That's the strat.
All right. Well, I'm gonna let you chat. I'm gonna stretch my legs a bit, get some more water. I'll be right back.
Sounds good. All right, chat. It's time. Well, it's not really time, because we actually have to wait for him to get back for the tier lists, which are apparently required. Checking these donation incentives here. 55 hundo. Live Heywoah tier stream of Heywoah tier streams. Technically, I'm streaming into Discord right now, and as such, I can't like show you what's on my screen. So I'm going to give Meph the links to the tier makers and talk the way through it while he's still here. Hey, well, can we break music tonight? Break music? DMCA? No. I can't. It just wouldn't be right if I risked DMCA during a charity stream. Ahem. Your starting point as order shouldn't be Gotrek. Yeah, I agree with that. It's generally why I don't go in for like allies and coalition units in general. I'm not like a huge fan of them because the danger is you get something that's too good, and then it just becomes every single army in an entire Grand Alliance starts by playing that guy, and then 1,500 points, which is kind of like dangerously close to what Gotrek is at the moment. But if not him, then it could be something else. Ahem. Yeah, you only need about 1,500 points, and then slap Gotrek in there. But we'll see what happens. He's not invincible though. Like, don't misunderstand. It's not like he has no weakness. The Philosopher X donated $5. Hey, TY Philosopher X, thanks for the dono. Just Fireball donated 10 to mental health awareness. Big. Just Fireball, just $10. Not bad. TY, I finally saw those things coming up in the corner. Apologize. I probably haven't been calling them out. But yeah, like it just so happens my particular army is like hopelessly screwed by Gotrek because I just don't have a way to kill him. Gotrek dies to buckets of dice of any quality attacks. Like he'll eventually just roll 1s and 2s and then die, through sheer weight of dice. And he also dies to like a bunch of individual proc, like single mortal wounds over and over and over. And more the better if it all happens to be shooting, right? And what I have is a giant Frost Wreath ice cannon that only does good damage against hordes, that against Gotrek does 1 damage. And then I have like monsters that have 3, 4, or 5 damage weapons that deal 1 damage against Gotrek. And so I am in the worst position to actually fight him. And if he rolls normal and I roll normal, he straight drops a Frost Lord of any variety, like just already 6 feet under and in the coffin. Hey, well, I've got a TTS game with Frank tomorrow. Can I ask for some advice for STD? Which Vanguard circle is big? I believe there's a Vanguard circle that gives bonus damage, or was that the old one? Let me check the tapes. I'm live checking the tapes on this one. Circle. All right, let's see. The 8 circles of the Vanguard. The first circle can redeploy after deployment, which is good, but they're fast. It's fine. You don't care. Second circle reduces bravery. How did they think this is good? Unbelievable. They literally don't play the game, I swear. Third circle, subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made with missile weapons that target third circle units. Nope. Fourth circle, you can pick a terrain feature within 3 of them. Each enemy within 3 of that suffers D3 mortal wounds. No. Fifth circle, reroll hit and wound rolls for attacks made by them against a hero or a monster. That one's not bad. That one ain't bad. Fifth circle ain't bad. Sixth circle, add 1 to damage inflicted by attacks made with melee weapons. Sixth circle units that charged in the same turn. Big damn. Double damage, huge. That's a big buff. Seventh circle at the end of the combat phase. They can heal. Who cares? And then 8th circle, they can fly. That's strong. Okay, for me, between 8th circle and 6th circle, like, do you want Omega Giga charge damage, or do you want flying? If you're choosing between circles, host of the Everchosen, I say it's personal preference between the most overpowered movement ability in the game, even more overpowered than teleports. There, I said it. Or plus 1 damage on the charge, which is like really, really good.
All right.
Hey, well, should I waste a spell slot for my Lord Regent on Flaming Weapon, or just stick him with a default spell? Isn't Lord Regent's job to give 5 up mortal wounds to the boys? Or are you thinking about giving him that spell just in case like all the boys are dead and you're kind of screwed and he needs to do some damage? Kind of depends on how many attacks he's got with his weapon. Let's see, Venari Lord Regent. Five attacks, 2s and 3s are into 1 damage 1. It would be damage 2 with Flaming Weapon. It's all right.
Wait, after all the talk of riffs, we have to at least know what Heywoah's favorite class is in riffs. Heywoah, what's your favorite class in riffs?
I like. Which one is the Leyline Rifter is the one that makes a pact, right? With the Golden Dagger?
Shifter.
Shifter. I would say Shifter. Um,
One of the coolest takes on summoners in anything that has a summoner, I think.
Yeah.
Um,
I would have to say Shifter is up there. Psy Slinger is up there. And
Psyslinger is a psychic gunslinger.
yeah, Psychic Gunslinger has a pretty complete kit actually. Just sort of, it's one of those classes where you just kind of get a pretty decent kit for any situation.
Yeah, you scale,
and you scale super well too. It's
depending
so
on your
easy to scale
equipment.
them up.
Like, yeah, just have
Like,
better
if it's-
equipment or more money, and you can play even with the Glitter Boy. You know, like it's
Yeah.
So
if you're in some low key adventure and you're fighting vampires and stuff, and nobody has a mech suit, you just give them like an STC revolver with a custom grip and a bunch of like silver bullets.
Yeah.
And some like D4 mortal wounds pistol or something like that. He's fine. Maybe a TW weapon eventually, like to level up into.
Mm-hmm.
What's the one that does bonus dam against
TW Thunder Gun?
Supernatural, yeah, Thunder Gun.
Yeah.
But then if like your party is OP and you have like fucking glitter boys and stuff, all right, give him a Naruni pistol and he's like,
Yep, Naruni
actually
time.
insane.
Yep.
And there you go, easy. Like he's so easy to scale to any party.
Yeah. So
Plus
this
you're like a charisma hero. You get to talk to people.
Yeah,
like,
you've
look
got a
like-
horror factor, which is one of my favorite parts. Like, because you have like a reputation for being a badass gunslinger. Like, yeah,
Yeah, it's not as good as the gunslingers, but then again, I think the class is a little more fun. There's a little more meat to it.
I
More flavor,
I
guess.
like straight gunslingers because I've always liked quick drawing other people's guns on them and shooting them with their own guns. And like,
straight gunslingers are probably better.
Psyslingers are better in terms of cheese because they have some open-ended tricks you can do with them. But
Yeah, that's true.
there's just that picture in there. I think it's a bro, not like BRO. I think it's the artist bro. Where is it? Riffs New West. My autographed copy here. It's just straight Clint Eastwood, and I fell in love with the picture the first time I saw it. It's just straight Clint Eastwood with armor.
Yeah, their artist notes were just draw Clint Eastwood, and then they put a period at the end, and they give that to the artist.
Yeah, Perez. Oh no, shit! It's Raymond Perez. Of course, it's fucking Raymond Perez.
Perez did a lot of the stuff in New West.
Like it's just fucking Clint Eastwood. Like even with the cigarillo and everything, like slight body armor, like fucking gunslinger. The Psyslinger also Raymond Perez though. A couple pages later, like so classy, like. You get telekinesis, so like you activate your telekinesis and fling debris at people as a distraction, and then gunsling them, like so cool. Just Riffs is so good. Sorry. Oh shit! What's this? Following changes have been made to the Cowboy OCC. Look at that! I found old GM Mephisto notes inside of a thing that I homebrewed to change. Fucking rafts. Sorry.
Hey, well, what's your top 3 Pride Fighting champions? I didn't follow it that closely. I couldn't name them.
All my autograph copies.
I could name a few of them, I guess, but I would just be moving around in the dark.
So this is the grand prize, you guys. I don't have the other prizes for tonight were added to it. So we got the Warhammer Quest box. It's in the border. So I decided I would display the grand prize. Yes, a unit of Fellbats. They're tech. They're cheap. They go in the most lists. It's 75 points, like the same as a Gorslav. So super dope. You got a Belladama, the Grampire, regular Vampire Lord on foot for the tech. Rolling that CP, baby. If you go at the bottom of the turn, you can CP, and then at the top of the turn, you can CP and get a +2 attacks on your Graveguard. Bound in hell. Or rather, bottom and bottom, or whatever. Yeah, bottom and top. You can do some shenanigans. We've got Lady Annika, for the culture. Kritza, also a fun tech piece because in Virkos, double Jennies. Necromancer, right? Radiker the Based, or Radical the Based. 2 boxes of zombies, a box of Graveguard, 3 boxes of Death Rattle Skeletons, 2 boxes of Dire Wolves, and then a start collecting box, which is going to have what your white, your doesn't quite work king, but then another 10 Graveguard, some Black Knights and or Hex Wraiths. So just super classy. Just a great range of models to hobby, and you can build some lists with teeth. So super quality. You can cordially invite people to the Bone Zone. Fellbats with money cost too much? Whoa. They cost more than $1 per point in Australia.
It's true that Fellbats, money-wise, cost too much. But if you donate and just win it...
Yeah. Rad. Super rad. So, yeah, there it is. There's the grand prize, everybody.
So I sent you a link on Discord because I can't share my screen. It's just black, which is annoying.
That's weird.
I was really
How are
planning
you gonna do the tier list?
I've sent you a link.
Oh, here we go. So what do I do here?
So we have 2 to do tonight, right? First tier list. Final Fantasy game tier list.
Oh,
Strong opinions in chat here. And then after that, the required, because I was going to do a tier list anyway for fun. After that, the required bought and paid for tier list, which includes this Final Fantasy 1, and it also includes itself. The tier list is on the tier list, by the way. See, these are all the mainline Final Fantasies, and then they added Final Fantasy Tactics, because that's the rules.
all right. Hang on, let me get a screen capture here. Hit monitor 3. Nope, we went infinite. My monitors switch every time I reboot my computer in terms of what it thinks is my display capture. Every time.
Really? That's weird.
OBS is weird.
This may be divisive, but I'm sure we can all come together on at least a few of them and understand that, as with all opinions, this is not. These are facts. All right. You're 2 minutes away from unlocking Red Mage and blasting.
And then
anyway, FF14.
So nice. Anyway, then I started blasting.
They have a cool rotation actually. I can't remember what their ability is called, but every other spell they cast is instant. Like they get, whenever you cast any spell, you get a buff that says your next cast is instant. And so you have these like short cast time spells that you cast, and then you have these super long cast time spells that are like do tons of damage.
And we're just gonna be off-centered here.
And you just always instant cast those, right? And you balance your holy and unholy magic, well, your holy and dark magic or whatever it is. And then zoom in, do like a melee combo, jump out, and then do your normal double casts and stuff again. You're really quite maneuverable. You can kind of scoot around the battlefield by like casting a spell and then shifting when you're on global cooldown and stuff. And it means that you have Verays, which is instant cast raises basically at any moment you want, and so you're really good for progression fights in FF14. Because if anyone dies, chances are you're like 1 second away from instant rezzing them. Which means it's very important, A, for you not to die, and B, nobody cares if you do bad damage or screw up your rotation, because you're like resurrecting people all the time, and that's super useful. and you have the tools not to get hit by any mechanics for the most part, so try not to. Their damage is like okay too. Like their opener is pretty decent. They're not like crazy damage or anything, but it's fine. Your utility's so good that it doesn't matter. You have like a damage buff of some sort as well that you use in the opener.
All right.
And your gear looks pimp as fuck because you're a red mage. And so obviously you look like a goddamn pimp.
So I my input on this is no more input than a regular chat member. You know, pretend I'm typing, except I just talked. People don't listen to me for my tier list; they listen to you. So I'm assigning things to screens, right? So,
Right, so let's set our outer bounds. This is the way, right? We have to define our extremes. We have S tier godlike, you know, A, B, C, D, and F tier, aka trash, aka Ale Guzzler Gargan tier. And so we need to define an S that's just obviously S.
Final Fantasy
and
Tactics.
An F that's just obviously F, right? And so we can put Final Fantasy Tactics in F. There's simply no debate. This is not an opinion.
No,
this is a fact.
Tactics is S. Like it's pure S tier. Final Fantasy Tactics
we can put that there easy. I'm going to monitor chat for incorrect opinions, but that's the only reason I'm monitoring chat at this moment.
Yeah, and then F tier, what's your trash bin?
Let's see. What was so bad that it's actually like a trash game? Oh, this is easy.
10-2?
Was it?
Was it 10-2?
No, because I consider a trash game to be something that you're not even able to ironically enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And you at least got that with 10-2.
Yeah, you held X
you
once you got Berserker, and you're like, right?
Yeah, and I held X for 34 hours. It was fucking awesome. And I got the super perfect ending that you can miss by opening a treasure chest too early. God damn it. Where's Final Fantasy 14 original? I mean, like that's easy.
It's unplayable, right?
We can blast that. That goes in F.
I'm looking for it.
Hard.
Final Fantasy 14. This should be the original right here, yeah? This image is tiny. Final Fantasy 10-1. I don't see Realm Reborn, so it must be it.
Yeah, so we can put that in F. I purchased this game, Final Fantasy 14, the original, after I heard that it was the worst MMO ever. After that, I bought it. I mean, it was on sale. But still, I wanted to see how bad it was for myself. Let me tell you, the rumors were true. It was garbage. It had no auto attack system. Its UI was bad for a PS3 game, and I was playing it on a computer. Like Bethesda quality inventory. Possibly even worse. Except it actually worked. It was just hard to maneuver. It didn't like bug out. The rumors were true. It was so fucking bad.
I'm with Neo Kevlar here in chat. Mystic Quest was a good game, but not a good Final Fantasy. So much so that it wasn't originally called Final Fantasy. Like it was, you know, whatever it was called in Japan. They just marketed it as Final Fantasy over here, right? Like,
is Mystic Quest on this list?
I don't think so. I think you were smart enough to recognize that it's not technically a Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I mean, also I haven't played it, so it's not fair.
It's actually pretty great.
This is somebody else's tier list. I'm just using it. And now we can start to close in, right?
Yeah, a little weeb trivia here. It wasn't released as Final Fantasy. It was released as Mystic Quest Legend in PAL regions and as Final Fantasy USA Mystic Quest.
Okay, so it was a little bit of a Mario Brothers 2 kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or it was just
and then they eventually rebranded it as like a mana or something. Like some sort of mana, or one of those weird spin-off series.
Yeah, Legend of Mana series.
Yeah, something like that. It came with the SNES. I actually really enjoyed it. You could kill the boss with Cure. Like, you killed the final big bad evil guy by healing its soul. It was great. It was just like this little Easter egg where like you could like beat it to death, or you could just cast heal. Living in America is to be lied to constantly. So what was the next
Alright,
game? I'm
so
sorry. I was
what can populate the A tier now? Or maybe I should just start doing stuff. I feel like I can actually put it's at this stage in my life that I'm okay to put Final Fantasy X, Final Fantasy X.
Mhm.
I'm ready to put it in A tier
I agree.
with the benefit of hindsight. It's been, I don't know, fucking 20 years or something like that. Final Fantasy X, A tier. The music was awesome. The gameplay was awesome. The level up system was a great idea that actually worked pretty well.
Hmm.
It
Apart from
had
Waka
Auron
being
in
really
it.
good. Apart from Waka being the best if he maxed the sphere grid. Fuck Waka. I hate you.
Well, just every character that happened to just be naturally fast. So Waka, Tidus, and
Yeah.
Yuna.
Yeah.
Ahem, Lady Unalesca. It had Auron in it. I mean, need I say more? And the idea of the overall plot of the game
Super cool.
was unhinged creative, like really interesting.
I wrote
It had
stories
its
similar to it, like it's such a transcendental like notion. The gods dream of the thing, or we dream of the gods and the gods in turn like do the thing. So like such a cool plot. Go on, sorry.
yeah. And it had a great ending too.
Auron, the character, so badass he just decided not to die, and then the world conformed to
Yeah.
it. He's like, yeah, I
And
don't feel like doing that right
the
now.
world just dealt with it, yeah.
Yeah.
And it had some rock fucking soundtrack too. The soundtrack was great.
That like first, you can't be done it. It's just a break to treat you. Like such a fucking great like kicking ass like intro tune. Yeah, it was fantastic. And people who hated, like, here's your hot take: people who hated Blitzball were wrong. It was great.
Yeah.
If,
Yeah, they were wrong. It wasn't the best mini game in any Final Fantasy, because that was
Triad or
the
whatever.
Final Fantasy VIII card game.
Yeah.
But it was very good.
Tetra Triad or Tetra whatever
Yeah,
the fuck it was called. Yeah.
They copied it for 9, but then made it bad, which was a theme. Final Fantasy X did have its downsides. It had the ha 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 meme, and it had Waka, but it had Lulu. We don't speak ill of Lulu in this house. In this chat.
No, we stand Lulu.
So solid A, not quite S, but
Yeah.
history. Please nerf Jack Shot, dude. Jack Shot.
Well, that's the thing. You can tell the difference between who liked Blitzball and who didn't, and it's the people who got Jack Shot on their first playthrough versus not. If you learned the thing, because you had like a 1 hour unskippable sequence of the game, and then you have to perfectly kick the stupid ball when the little kid meets you, and if you don't learn the Jack Shot, your life is hell for like hours playing Blitzball. Get ejected. Yeah.
Yeah, and the strat was, of course, score once immediately, and then just guard your net forever.
Yeah. Cool. Like I liked it had like the mini game of like the one thing that Blitzball and both Blitzball and the like card game got done like perfectly is like the collection element of building your team and building your deck. And like where you had these moments where like villains propped up in the game and in like 8 would like stop to play you in cards and shit so you could like win their card. Like it was just so like it was so hammy and so great. Like I liked it. Sorry.
It's true minimum pants that Lulu was useless as a character because Yuna learned level 2 black magic and then Lulu is obsolete, but that's not Lulu's fault that Yuna is the most powerful character in any Final Fantasy game, just period. Like the most OP character. You could max out her sphere grid. She was, I think, the second fastest character naturally.
She got the Eidolons, dude.
Physically hit for max damage, knows every spell, and then also summons all the best summons. Like, actually nuts. Like, literally broken. Especially next to a save point.
But it made sense for the plot. You think about, like if we read this through the feminist lens.
That's how good you would have to be to do something like, defeat Sin so quickly every song.
Yeah, like, she was the MC through and through, and Talk about like, female empowerment ahead of time. Like she was the main badass, right? Like the whole
Yeah, she didn't need a bodyguard, that's for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
in the cutscenes she did, but not in the real game.
Yuna is Croak. Damn right she is. Yeah.
She's Croak except with like Gotrik's body. Like it was insane. All right. Anyway, so that's A.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy X Easy A. Now there was a sequel to Final Fantasy X, and I pre-ordered it and kept the receipt for 15 years.
I remember that trip to Walmart or whatever the fuck it was. Like,
yeah, and like 5 of us bought the game and put TVs in the same
Yeah,
dorm room, and we all played
we rented
like
the
20
Putnam
hours.
Commons room and just brought all these CRT TVs down, and just like people were so mad for like that whole weekend. They would come in like, can we do stuff? No, we've officially rented this.
Yeah, and so Final Fantasy X-2 was kind of nothing like Final Fantasy X. It was a game they clearly designed on purpose to capture the female audience, like very overtly, on purpose, and almost insultingly so.
With the dress spheres.
Yeah, with the dress spheres. The mannerisms and storyline makes no fucking sense. It's crazy stupid.
Come on,
like
every
worst
pop
Team
diva has
Rocket.
an imposter, and everyone like natural. What's the natural progression once you save the world from like weird dream gods and sin?
Throw a concert on a lightning plane and play dress up for 40 hours. With the most embarrassing, like Team Rocket.
Cannot
except
do it for you.
Times 100 in cringe.
Cannot
for
do
every
it for
single
you.
Enemy.
Like fucking cannot do for you. Oh man, it's still an earworm in my head. It's still
Good
up
intro though, and Pain, not a bad waifu.
there. Yeah.
I think that was her name, Pain.
Yeah, Pain was Payne.
Yeah.
But they ruined Lulu. Like everyone knows that the kid was not Waka's kid. She was impregnated
right.
by the sheer gravity of being around Orin, and never had the heart to tell Waka that you must have sex to have a baby.
Yeah, and Waka didn't know.
Yeah,
and
he just didn't know.
Was shielded from it. She protected him
Right.
from that knowledge.
Yeah.
Anyway, the gameplay itself was actually pretty fun, and the dress sphere system was actually a really interesting system for equipping your characters and leveling up and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't get enough credit, I don't think.
I agree.
It's still in D tier, because everything else about the game is giga embarrassing. And it was at the time, and it hasn't aged well. But the core mechanics were actually really good. So it is not trash. It's not F.
This is how you can tell like I'm on a Heywoah stream is the trivia of it. You know that they had a system laying around, and then they laid a game on top of it. The grid system, the dress sphere wasn't going to be dress up necessarily, but they had this idea of active combat swapping. They just had a system laying around, and they essentially laid a skin on top of it. And they're like, oh, what's our most recent IP, and how can we make a bunch of money? And 10-2 existed. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, and they had this system for switching out your gear and being able to change class like on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
It was really cool, and then they reused it for 13. Unfortunately, they surrounded it with a really bad game again, instead of putting it into a good game. But you can't have everything. Mm-hmm. Final Fantasy 11.
Where's 11? Let me see if I can't find. Oh, that's the first one. Yeah. 11 was the online game, right? The first.
Yeah, it was
MMO.
the online game that you could play on PS2 and cross-play with PC, and it was like possibly the first MMO where you could actually do that. It was definitely an old school MMO, insanely grindy, with ludicrously long boss fights and everything like that. Like, it was like the Japanese version of EverQuest, like the kind of game that like forces you to group up and party and play for 1,000 hours to get.
Well, a KRPG
levels.
basically. It was a KRPG, or what would become the basis for KRPGs. I love this take here. Dinma says, Final Fantasy X-2 was when my neighbor decided that he was too old for video games, so Square managed to make him quit the entire video game thing.
Such is its power, and it's only it's not even F tier. Imagine. This is only 1% of their true power.
Yeah.
So anyway, Final Fantasy 11. I kind of don't want to put it in F tier because it existed in a very specific time and place where this kind of thing was more the norm, and like the year it came out, it wasn't as bad as Final Fantasy 14 was the year it came out.
Right. Hell.
But it is trash, and it does go in F tier. But it's pretty close to D.
So do we put it on the top side of F with 14 is the worst?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I think Pandemonium was a 16-hour boss fight. So, fuck off.
I mean, that's kind of cool, though. I think it's cool. Not like, you shouldn't do that, but, like, the fact that it just, like, it was one of those, like, can we do it type things where I'm like, I'm just happy that there was a boss fight so hardcore, it was like a half a rantathon once upon a time. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, if somebody really wanted to say it's the bottom of D tier, I wouldn't argue, but it's kind of... Anyhow, so now we got... Let's see, let's have some controversy here. Where's Ma Final Fantasy 7?
Do I need to walk out the room for a minute?
Yeah, here's where I'm throwing people a curveball here. Final Fantasy 7 is A tier.
Okay, I don't have to walk out the room. I understand not putting it on S tier, but like if you're like this is a C tier game, I'd have been like fucking flipped my screen and walked out.
There are actually several places I can put this. It has not aged well at all, so could go to B because it didn't age very well, right? It could be an A because
peak soundtrack.
Actually very good. The open world thing was really awesome.
Story was excellent.
Story's cool.
Had the cojones to kill your main character, disappear out the plot for like a good chunk of it. Like,
yeah, characters were great, and to a large degree, like how good the characters are really define how well a Final Fantasy is, or how good one is almost. Even when it came out, like the backgrounds were good, but the models and stuff, like literally when it came out, they were bad.
Yeah, you had Legend of Legia right next to it that had like clearly better sprites in game. Yeah, the backgrounds were good, but the sprites they placed in game were like trashed here. The ones in the like combat menus and the summons weren't bad, but like the actual running around the world was comedically bad.
Yeah, and if you consider cultural significance or something like that, we're grading films, then it just has to be S tier. There's no comparison.
Mm-hmm.
Like it sold the PS1. Like the PS1 exists because of Final Fantasy VII, and to a lesser degree, like probably some stupid football game and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Like, I guess Crash Bandicoot, but yeah, I say A tier.
Yeah.
Where's another really good one? Final Fantasy VI, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to go on the record here. Final Fantasy VI is overrated. But it's A tier.
Mm-hmm. I agree with this.
And that's the start and the finish. Character's good. Did a cool thing with the story. No spoilers, I guess, for the million-year-old game.
Yeah.
But I consider 6 to be like... 6 is the last of the truly classic Final Fantasies. 9 tried to revive that, but pathetically failed, in my opinion. And so it holds a special place. I mean, even the opera, like the music...
Metal Gear Solid came after Final Fantasy VII had cemented the PS1 sales in the US, though. Like, you don't necessarily get a Metal Gear Solid without 7, like, holding it down. And, like, was it Metalcore and, like, a couple of those other, like, early games that, like just fucking rocked the thing. I agree with the 6 is C tier, but... Or not C tier, but is it overrated? But I still think you keep it A tier. I'd hear arguments for B, but...
For me, 6 goes in like the bottom of A tier. Like it's the least among these three.
Yeah.
It is overrated, but it's also like the best
It was
quote unquote classic Final Fantasy, or the first era, or maybe the second age of them. And now we get to some dumps. Final Fantasy 1 started it all. I played it in elementary school in my friend's house who had an NES, and we played that shit for like a summer, actually saving our game. And it was so awesome when it first came out. It was so sick. And it makes for some really cool speed runs and randomizers and stuff like that. So it actually has truly... Final Fantasy 1 has more longevity. More people play it nowadays than 2, 3, 4, 5 combined. Just because of stuff like that.
Yeah, talking about parties and speedrun randomizers and shit. Like, it's pretty fantastic in that respect.
That being said, it's C.
Bad games are great for speedrunning, it turns out.
Yeah, and at the time it wasn't as pathetic as, you look at it nowadays, but I was there.
I actually played it and I
was
didn't.
on those rings of Saturn.
Yeah.
Yeah. It came out in America and I was there and I played it, and so I have a certain brain-numbing nostalgia about it, and or personal experience, however you want to define that.
Crystalis was my RPG of choice in that same time period. Like I got stuck in Final Fantasy 1 at some point. I just like never went back to it. It was like Dragon Warrior and Crystalis were the two that I just like I couldn't stop playing.
Plus, like, what other good RPGs were like classic dungeon crawl RPGs were on the NES 1, The Eye of the Beholder.
Dragon Warrior.
Technically Zelda, I guess, but speaking of overrated as fuck games, Zelda literally has never been good. I have no idea why people like basically any game in the whole series, but this is hot take night from Heywoah After Dark.
I was like 7 years old, and I had a sleepover at a friend's house, and he had an SNES, and I only had an NES, and he had Zelda: Link to the Past, and we spent hours hitting chickens and like trying to run away from them and seeing who could last the longest. Hours. I get it.
Slimes,
I get it. Like we just like hit chickens, and like you couldn't go in the door, so you could only hit them and run around in like the same place where you spawned them and just see who could last the longest. We just did this hours laughing. But I get it.
Zelda games make for some good speed runs, and the time limit, like moon crash landing on the one game, was pretty
Majora's
cool.
Mask, yeah.
That idea was kind of cool. The cell shading one looked pretty, I guess. But as far as games go and characters and stuff, unplayable.
Wow. Oh, there's some hot take. That's the spiciest take I've heard from you. All the Zelda fans are currently like throwing things at their screen. It's one of the most beloved franchises of all time.
Yeah. You know what? Some mysteries will just never be solved, and we'll get it.
Muy caliente.
Let's see. Let's throw in some more spicy takes here. Final Fantasy 3. Never played it. Same with 2. Never played 2 and 3. They didn't come to America, and I played all of these as they were released in America in chronological order.
You got PlayStation and like little disc bundles.
Yeah, you got collector's edition, like 2 and 3 bundle thing, but by that time you're already playing other ones anyhow. So the release in America was Final Fantasy 1, and then Final Fantasy 3, which was 6, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. Where do 2 and 3 go, or whatever?
In the not played category, so they just stay down.
Okay.
Haven't played them.
All right.
Final Fantasy 4 goes in I think high C. High C tier.
Wow. All right.
The claim to fame for Final Fantasy IV is it is the first Final Fantasy that started, I think, really the most of like the classic Final Fantasy tropes kind of began with 4, I think. And it had Dark Knight Paladin convert. Like the story was pretty cool, but
Had a love story. Edward's melody is
just
dope
like
as hell.
it's just like an okay Final Fantasy. Nothing's wrong with it. It started a lot of trends. It's important because of that. Because I have Final Fantasy VI so high, you could say that I should put Final Fantasy IV 1 tier below it, just because it's like the direct predecessor to 6.
I actually flipped
in
6
a way.
and 4. I think 6 is so overrated. If I were doing this tier list, my 6 would be on C tier, and 4 would be on A tier, at the bottom of A tier.
Okay.
But no, I'm not telling you to change it.
I would go as high as B for 4. Someone could convince me of B, I think. But
I think story alone, and like at that time you hadn't. No, I don't want. I'm not trying to I'm just a rando in chat, doing the legwork here. I'm not pleading its case. I like 4, and your tier list doesn't make me not love it any less. Like the Cecil, I named both Cecil and Keene after me. That's how much I loved this game. So Cecil was named Drew because you didn't have enough characters for Andrew, and Keene was named Andy because again you didn't have enough characters for Andrew. So I named them both after me. And it was like my light side and dark side were battling each other the entire game, and it added this whole layer to it that I just, even as like an edgelord tween, I got. I just loved the game. It was amazing. Like that fucking, it goes through and it kills your whole party systemically in the order you meet them. Just fucking there's this sequence where you have a key and you have no fucking idea what to do with it. And I actually figured it out as a kid without a strategy guide, because just running around the entire world until I realized you throw the fucking key down a goddamn well. And of course you would know to fucking do this. But it was also the first time I did the super sweet side quest where you could get Excalibur by trading a rat tail for a chunk of stuff and taking it to the dwarves. There's a scene that I had to stop playing because the music creeped me out so much when you meet the fucking dolls. And I'm like, I'm done for the night. And I don't know, man. But the best part was when you walked up to fire and went to talk with it, you said ouch. And games just didn't have that other interaction with fucking fire up until that point. I thought it was really funny. Secret bookshelves, fucking Spoony Bard is where that, the Spoony Bard, Tella trying to beat the shit out of Edward was hilarious. It was just this old man just beating the crap out of the Bard. Yes, everything about that game. I loved it. Still love it. Go back. Would still play it on, played it on emulators recently probably about 5 years ago. Loved it still. So.
Next up.
Oh God, we're only $144 away from Rainbow Cast. Really? Have I not been paying attention to the donations coming in? I have not been paying attention to the donations coming in.
Oh yeah, Noops donated 10. That was the most recent one. I think the other two people. Noops, TY, for the $10. I appreciate it.
Let me see.
Bigly.
Real quick, read some stuff. Just Gut dropping $5 saying big time. Just Gut also dropping another $5 saying big for a second time. Just Gut. How many prizes are there for this time slot? 3. You didn't have to donate all 3 times, but I do truly appreciate it. Just $5 makes you eligible for all of them. SJ Arcade dropping $5 say rematch BCS. Doc dropping 100. Cool Hondo saying stayed up way too late just to do this during the Heywoah block. Thank you so much for that, Doc. And DJ Push Start saying Heywoah is the prize, $5. And DJ Push Start, thanks again, Mephisto, $5. No, thank you so much for donating, and thank you everyone else donating. Where was I? Oh yes, here we go.
TYVM. All right, Final Fantasy 12. what tier should a Final Fantasy go in if I couldn't make it through the game because I didn't like it? Like, Final Fantasy 12 had such amazing characters as clearly the main cast. And then the person making the game had a nervous breakdown. And somebody else rolled in, added 2 random ass nobodies to be the actual main characters for some reason, slapped on single player MMO gameplay, and made the thing fucking insufferable to play so that I couldn't even get through it. Set in the world of Final Fantasy Tactics, kind of.
It's a prequel or whatever.
Like, the characters were so awesome. You just weren't playing as them. You were playing as these 2 fucking kids. The gameplay was so bad. I don't know. I hated it. 12 was like 60% of an A tier, like a solid A tier Final Fantasy that halfway through the race, like, tripped over their shoelaces, broke both of their legs, fell downstairs, and just spaghetti flew everywhere. I'm gonna call it low. I'm gonna call it D tier. Like, it's Final Fantasy X2 tier.
All
Except I got through Final Fantasy X2. I played the whole game. I couldn't do that with 12.
Yeah.
It's not Final Fantasy 11, Final Fantasy 14 1.0 or anything, but it's like I couldn't get through it. That's rough. When you can get through X2, you should be able to get through any, like, real Final Fantasy. And I'm still sad about what could have been. The most disappointing fantasy probably was 12.
Yeah.
Speaking of unfinished Final Fantasies, what about Final Fantasy 15? Never has a game felt more obviously unfinished than when I played Metal Gear 5. The thing is just was not done and they released it. That's it. Like,
15.
Yeah, 15. It was like half of a finished Final Fantasy game, and then it rushed you through a bunch of story hallways, and then did a 20-year time skip, and then the end. Like, It was bad. And the main theme of the game was not like a uematsu or anything. It was just like some fucking pop song. Like a real American pop song or something like that. Garbage.
So straight trash
But
tier? Oh, no. Okay.
I played all the way through it. Combat was okay-ish. You really got a sense of the Lord of the Rings kind of, this is the traveling, character development thing. Like, that happened.
Cooking was fun. It was actually fun.
Cooking minigame was pretty good. Fishing minigame was fucking trash, but it always is.
Mm-hmm.
I think 15 for me lands, and it was also that era of like NU final, like new Final Fantasies where everyone overacts times a million.
It became they became obsessed with spectacle. Like
it was a spectacle. It was an unfinished spectacle Final Fantasy.
Like they've always been quirky and a little weird and a little like kind of silly or out there. Like melodramas, like they've always been a little melodramatic.
Except in the older games, they were just typing stuff, and so you could read it better.
Right.
And then later on, they added voice actors that are like just wailing and
super hammy, just like the most overacting.
And it kind of ruins it. It ruins the mystique of it.
Yeah.
Highest of the high D tier, above Final Fantasy X2.
Okay.
But below original Final Fantasy and Final Fantasy 4. Final Fantasy 1 and 4 are objectively better games than 15.
I agree.
There, I said it. I gotta populate this C tier with something useful.
C tier or B tier? There's not a single B tier yet.
Right. but I'm already eyeing B tier to move 4 up into, so I have more room in C tier for boring stuff.
Mhm.
Because C is like boring or average Final Fantasy. And
Oh, I can't wait. He's saving 8
I think
for
I'm
later.
ready to go 4. I'm ready to go 4 going into B.
Nice.
Because it just is. It's not as boring as C tier. I got plans for C tier. Final Fantasy V I played once and I don't remember anything from it aside from X Death and a cool job system. So it goes in C tier underneath Final Fantasy 1. Because not remembering anything from the game but having completed it is, I guess, a blessing. When it comes to stuff like Final Fantasy 14 and 12 and 15 and stuff like that. Let's get Final Fantasy 13 out of the way. The hallway simulator. Is 13 better than 15?
It has one glorious scene in it. Like one
It has
absolutely
one glorious
like Giga Chad, like, like turbo fan service, like just one of the best. It's also a melodramatic. This 13 was the turning point into like the just unrepentant spectacle melodrama that just
Right.
was just, for me, unbearable. This was, so you guys talked about like your friend quit in chat there. Your friend quit like video games. I quit RPGs after 13. 13 was like the last RPG I played. Like I quit. I'm just like, I am done with like JRPGs now. Like I'm just like, I am done. I had played like, Persona 4. Was around that. Well, no, it was before that. But like, I loved Persona 3 and 4, and I got to like, the other games. I played Lost Odyssey on the Xbox 360. Loved that
was
game.
a good one.
Yeah,
That was a good one.
solid game.
Yeah.
Uematsu on the soundtrack, man. Really cool plot about memories and shit. Like, really, really engaging game. Released on the wrong system, so nobody fucking played it, but really solid.
Yeah, it was trapped on the plebeian system for sure, the Xbox.
Yeah. And then,
same thing with Killer Instinct. It just happens.
Yeah,
Sometimes
just
it happens.
Yeah. And then, like, I played 13, and I remember, like, getting to a point in it, and I quit caring about everything so much. I didn't beat it, personally. I'm like, I never beat it. Just like,
I beat Final Fantasy 13, 13-2, and 13-3 at Keegan's house. I was farming Adamantoises with that auto kill move that the pink girl has for like fucking 5 hours instead of doing homework.
I don't have don't have enough negative life for that. Like, my time is more precious than killing Adamantoises for 15 hours. Sorry.
I don't know. It takes sterner stuff, I guess.
Yeah, no, I'm not as mighty as you, man.
13 belongs at the bottom of C.
Okay.
13-2 and 13-3, which I have played, and I could not tell you a single thing that happened during either.
Well, Lightning returns apparently in 3.
Yeah, Lightning Returns is 3.
Like, how could they take something I love, which is like just ridiculous anime over the topness, and make me find it like irredeemable?
Dude, Snow was badass. And
Snow was
badass hero.
Oh, it was so good. The climb
and
was.
It was awesome.
That was the only part. Yeah.
Because he fell off a building and then punched the building. I can't remember what happened. It was sweet. One sweet thing happened.
No, 13 had that scene. It was like it's the only part I remember, and I just remember not just utterly disconnecting from caring about that game. And like in the same era, like I played the Devil May Cry everybody hated because it was too full of itself, and I still liked it. So like it wasn't
Is
just
one made by the other studio with the main character.
Where like they're like the dude gets angry and he has sex and the skyscraper shakes. Like, it's so stupid, but I still enjoyed it. And like there's just like the spectacle of like him like exploding in the trailer and doing like a pirouette through the air as the pizza crust like blocks his penis like timely, and he puts on his jacket while flailing through the air. Like like still enjoyed that spectacle of ridiculousness, right? Like, but there was something soulless in Final Fantasy 13 for me. It just like it felt like it was wasting my time on purpose. Like you just want to waste my time, and I don't. You know, I've seen through your ruse.
In the interest of keeping things in
Sorry.
rock blocks, I can't remember Final Fantasy X, 2, or 3. I played them. I remember liking 2 more than 1, at least gameplay-wise. I can't remember anything that happens from 3. I'm putting them all in the same category. They're all in C for me.
So 13, 2, and 3 goes in C as well?
Yeah. I don't know if 3 was any good, because I can't remember it. It's gone from my brain, even though I played it. It might be D, I'm not sure. I don't remember it being like amazing or anything, so it's all in C for me.
89 Russians up tonight, yeah.
89 ass Russians up at 1:20 a.m. Then we got 2 and 3, which I haven't played. 2 different versions of 4 on the DS. So I don't know why this person who made this tier list put those on there. We're skipping those.
Which ones are we skipping?
The Final Fantasy 4
Aftermath
DS
or whatever,
and
yeah.
another or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know what Aftermath is. I never heard of it even.
Yeah, I'm a 4
And
stan, and I haven't played it, so.
And then there were 2. Final Fantasy 8 and Final Fantasy 9.
Oh, I put the wrong 4 on.
2 totally opposite Final Fantasies right next to each other. One of them was paving the way for the future in a bad way, and the other one was looking back and trying to recapture the past in a bad way. Buckle your safety belts. Neutron star takes over here.
Mm-hmm.
Final Fantasy VIII is literally the comfiest Final Fantasy. The music is amazing. The art style at the time was so creative and so interesting that they ripped it off for like every
And
other
they
Final
never
Fantasy
stopped.
after 8.
And they
And
never
they
stopped.
never stopped, and they went too far, and it was terrible. But with just FF8, it was cool.
Mm-hmm. I
It
agree.
was the easiest Final Fantasy by far. In fact, it was so easy that if you leveled up too high, you would auto die to like fucking level 5 death and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's so bad that it's amazing. And it's written so poorly that if you take the story at face value, it can only mean that Squall dies in the first disc, and the rest is a juvenile power fantasy of the afterlife and him walking in a blank desert with no face, with a black hole for a face, and he's actually dead the whole time. And so he like gets Seifer's girlfriend and stuff, and it's just like all in his head in the final moments of his life, and it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
S
tier. S tier. Straight to
no,
S tier.
let's rein in our personal feelings.
Yeah, so A tier instead.
Top of B tier, easy.
Okay.
Higher than 4. It's simply objectively a worse game than anything above it, obviously. And in fact, it's a worse game than a few underneath it. But it's not about being good or bad. It's about being enjoyable. And Final Fantasy VIII is the shit.
Well, it's the best 80s movie you could ever play.
It's the best 80s chick movie you've ever played.
The fix is in, yeah.
Final Fantasy IX.
I'd posit that because he got back-to-back wins, it's how you know it is ultimately randomized. Because I wouldn't do something so fucking blatant. Like, I'm just reading the dice. So Final Fantasy IX.
It has the best minigame in it of any Final Fantasy, which is the Tetra card game.
Mm-hmm.
They tried to remake the card game for 9, but they fucked up and it wasn't fun. This will be a theme in 9. Final Fantasy 9. If there was ever a Final Fantasy more overrated than Final Fantasy 6, it is unquestionably 9. Simply the most overrated Final Fantasy. Period. this shit sucks.
It has the worst characters in any Final Fantasy.
There are no good characters in the entirety of Final Fantasy. Every character in your party, in your squad, in your main character squad, are bad characters and insufferable to listen to and be around and look at.
Mm-hmm.
They're all trash.
Mm-hmm.
When you're a child and you play through and you have the VV story, you are in middle school, and so it is deep, right? And I'm granting you that. But that's it. Every other character is literal trash. None of their decisions make any goddamn sense.
Nope.
They're just making them to drive the plot forward and no other reason. The gameplay sucks. It tries to recapture the old great Final Fantasies like 4.
But then they
and
put
6,
fucking guardrails
and
on
they
it, like little
totally
bumper
fail at
rails,
it.
and like make it no fun at all.
I've tried to play all the way through Final Fantasy IX so many times with years in between, and I've never beaten the game because I can't bring myself to like force myself to keep playing this garbage.
There's a point where Princess Dagger, well, like they do this whole performative bit where you get to name Garnet, who wants to be called Dagger. You get to rename her fake name to something, and then the game never uses her fucking fake name, Dagger, right? Like except for in the text box that says what she's saying, nobody fucking calls her Dagger the entire game. And she has the dumbest plot where she goes like, "Oh, my mom wants to kill me, but also she's not really my mom. Okay, I better go back and apologize to my mom." What the fuck? It's the dumbest.
And then she shows up and her mom's like, I'm gonna
kill you now.
Like, surprise, Pikachu.
No. The only one who has even a remotely understandable plotline is Steiner, because his whole thing is I got to protect the princess. But
well, Steiner is one of them that he actually has an arc, but it takes too long and he starts out too stupid.
Yeah.
And he never quite like fully gets there. It takes too long. The mouse dragoon girl is kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah, Freya.
That's it.
Kina says she wants to eat everything in the world, so she
Fantasy
joins the party to eat everything in the world.
Oh, Kina? Yeah. The worst character in all of Final Fantasy. Yeah, Kina with the giant spoon. The actual worst character in any Final Fantasy game. Or Red Amarant, who like looks cool and does nothing.
Well, his plot arc is
Chrissy,
you are
chick you just hate, and she hates you actually.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So remember at the beginning of Final Fantasy IX when you have to impress all the nobles, and 99 nobles are impressed? I'm the one who is not impressed. Final Fantasy IX is trash. It is in actual F tier, above Final Fantasy 11 and 14.10, but it is in F tier. I tried like 5 times to play it, and I've played almost every Final Fantasy, and I couldn't get through it because it has no good characters. I hate every character. And if you have no good characters, you're a bad Final Fantasy.
Well, it just goes
the
through.
Gameplay sucked, and the world sucked.
It goes
and
through.
The plot sucked.
Yeah, it wholesale tries to rip off the best scene, like the best scene in 6, which is unequivocally the opera scene, and tries to do it several times and fails. At least Final Fantasy VII had the fucking decency to like make it a joke. You know, it's like you can go to the opera in the Golden Saucer, and like it's a whole joke. And you can go with Barrett, and like it's really awkward and great. Like there's like a whole thing, and it just
yeah, FF9 trash game. And lots of people put it in S tier for some reason, which just proves that, you know, hey, this is a charity for mental health. We got to help people out. All right, this is the final Fantasy tier list. Final Fantasy Tactics is in a league of its own. It is S tier. Nothing can compete. This is fact. Everything else is kind of opinion. Final Fantasy Tactics being the best one is fact. Then it's Final Fantasy X, then 7, then 6. In B tier, we have 8 and 4. C tier, aka the boring Final Fantasies, 1, 5, 13, 13, 13. D tier, we have Final Fantasy 15, the incomplete. Final Fantasy X 2, the cool game mechanic in the cringiest skin ever. And Final Fantasy 12, the incomplete. And then in actual trash tier, we have Final Fantasy 9, the no good character is bad in every way. Final Fantasy 11, the grind fest just isn't fun, but it was a product of its time, and so it gets a few points. And then Final Fantasy 14 1.0, which is crap. Final Fantasy A Realm Reborn doesn't really belong on this because these are all single player games and you kind of can't compare them to an MMO. It's better than WoW, so there is that. A tier probably. A tier MMO.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
A tier for A
Realm
tier.
Reborn, Heaven's Word, Shadowbringers, all the expansions and everything like that. Solid A tier.
Mm-hmm. I actually, so I played through it and I was actually sad that it wasn't a single player game because I got through the whole story at the end and I was just waiting there because we'd done all the raids. And I'm like, well, now I don't have anything.
So sick, actually.
Yeah, the story was sick.
So fucking good.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, why wasn't this a single player game that I could enjoy 30 more hours of story? Like,
you choose to believe that Final Fantasy Tactics Advance is riding shotgun in Final Fantasy Tactics. Believe your self-deceptions if you wish, but that is nowhere. It can't even smell S tier. I hate to say it.
I mean, Mystic Quest I would put like high D or in C tier by if we rate it as a Final Fantasy. It's
Mystic, yeah, underneath the other two in B for sure, or maybe top of C, something like that.
Yeah, like it's
my heart. Somebody previously in chat asked, "Oh, Kicker 7, by the way, SD Arcade thinks it's $2. Some Norwegian dude thinks the 20 burgers. Kicker 7 thinks the $5. Your donations to this charity, much appreciated. TY, VM, my dudes, I appreciate it." Somebody from chat earlier asked, where would the Persona games appear on this tier? Do you have like a
Choo-Choo Chrono Trigger is better than all FF games. That's like your opinion, man.
Wrong. Chrono Trigger had the most production value of any game, of any system, leading up until that point. It's the most expensive game ever at that point. So much production value. They got the DBZ artist guy to do everything. The soundtrack was incredible. The world was very good. Story was lacking, to be honest. Chrono Trigger, pretty good.
See, I think Chrono Cross is underrated, by the way.
It is underrated.
Like,
and it's only underrated because it has the word chrono in it. If it didn't, it would be like a tier higher.
Yeah, everyone thinks like Chrono Trigger was so like revolutionary that like they never gave Chrono Cross a chance. And like it was actually pretty dope. That was one of my first times I encountered someone who shredded the guitar to deal damage and adored it. Like, you have these like we were obsessed with big swords in that era, remember? Like Final Fantasy had just like poisoned 7 had just like poisoned our minds against us. Like everything Soul Calibur, like everything's coming out with huge sword dudes. Berserk obviously was, doing it first, but like in terms of
arcade
in terms of like
played it, so
yeah, in terms of thrusting it into like the main zeitgeist though was 7, and then this game comes along where like one of the characters is shredding guitar and like everyone else is just having more intricate bladed weapons. Is like no, guitar, man. It was awesome.
Yeah, Chrono Trigger, very good. I wouldn't on this list. I wouldn't put it in S though. A tier probably somewhere around A tier. I don't particularly care for Akira Toriyama's art. Every one of his characters looks the goddamn same. I'm not like the biggest fan, to be honest. But it has insane production value for when it came out, the most ever, and you can't deny it. Cool time travel thing, a lot of interesting game mechanics based on it, excellent music. Cool like cross slash kind of team attack stuff going on, but ultimately kind of a wax cake. Looked really good, but not as much there as I was expecting.
Persona 3 and I'm saying this just for Heywoah's crowd. You can fight me. Persona 3 best Persona. Get out. I know 5 is like the darling, and 4 is the game that like revolutionized essentially the, you know, Shin Megumi Tensei into, you know, the whole Nocturnes, into Persona, into everything. But Persona 3 haunts me to this day with its story, and the rest of the games never quite. They all just kind of remixed the same thing in varying degrees of spectacle.
Yeah, they've become a little Final Fantasy in that respect, where you always have the, you always have the Junpei slash Yosuke slash Ryuji style character. You always have, they're getting kind of formulaic with their characters and tropes
Like,
and what things happen, which I guess is, I mean, that's fine. They're a
P5 is undeniably the most stylish and fun to play.
yeah, Stupay, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, he has a proper arc and he becomes a real man by the end of it. That's why I like him. And he does something that Yosuke and Ryuji just don't, which is start out really dumb and annoying, but actually become badass by the end. The other two get a little better-ish. Ryuji gets better than Yosuke does, but Junpei is the only one who goes through the full arc and becomes like fucking hero man, which is cool. Now, I haven't played Persona 3 in fucking, Jesus Christ, 10 years, 15 years.
Its
Like,
gameplay
so,
doesn't hold up. It's
yeah, the
it's kind
gameplay
of
is
like the
obviously
word. It's like kind of the word. It's like, even if you look at like the Shin Megumi Tensei's, like, because they were kind of parallel releases at the time, and you had like
you can't
not
even control your party. Like
yeah
you just
not
go to the toothpaste tower of Tartarus.
yeah like
Um,
the night the because Nocturnes like came out, was the game I had played just prior to that, and like it was just like blowing my mind. But then like I went into Persona 3, and like, even though I found the gameplay insufferable, I had to keep playing it because I had to know what was going on. And it had been such a
yeah,
long time since I had felt that in an RPG, like where like the gameplay will be fun, but if the story doesn't engage me, I kind of just quit caring. And characters will carry you for a while. That's why I like P4 a lot too, but 5 I just
I need very little gameplay to carry me through a game.
mm,
Like, I love Transistor, and it almost had no gameplay. I mean, not really. It had a lot of gameplay, but you know what I mean. Like, I will press X to see the next page and just like read the next part of story or watch the next cutscene. That's how I'll do it. I'm fine with that. A lot of people aren't, but
mm.
as far as the personas are concerned, Persona 2 has the craziest story, but literally unplayable. Persona 3 is probably the best, but I haven't played it in so long, I have no idea how badly it aged. Persona 4 has the best memes and is the comfiest Persona by far. And Persona 5 has the most style.
The style and production in it is just
That's
kind of
actually it.
unmatched.
I mean, it has better gameplay, but I don't give a fuck about that.
Yeah.
So honestly, Persona 5 to me is the lesser
Really?
of all of the Final
I see
Fantasies.
that.
Yeah,
I didn't expect
for
that
all
take.
the Personas. Yeah,
I didn't expect that from you. I thought like
easily.
P5 was like by far your favorite.
No,
No?
no.
Which is can I ask your favorite? Like, which one?
Even though I haven't played it in forever, and I've only played through it once, P3.
Hmm. Really?
P3
See, I
favorite.
thought I was going like full
P4 pretty
hipster on
close.
everyone here with like my P3 take. I didn't realize like other people believed in 3. Like,
Yeah, P3 is my favorite. P4 is really close because it's so
I
goddamn comfy.
oh like and it's got the
And
best. And it's got like kind of
the
the best
music is
character.
so good. The characters are so good, but it's got the best memes for sure. Um, it actually has some competition for waifu wars, although 3 definitely has better competition.
It's got
IMO.
it's got kanji, so it's like automatically like super awesome because kanji
Yeah,
is
it's
like
got
one of
Kanji, so it's automatically
the.
super awesome, but it's got Teddy and Yosuke who are omega cringe like sexual harassment on legs. Even back then, and it hasn't aged well. And then 5 is like best gameplay for sure, most style, but really lacking behind the other personas in pretty much every other way. Maybe not music. Music's very good in 5 as well.
Like again, P3
Kanji
still
is
haunts
best
me.
boy, true.
Like P3 just it's like the only way I can describe it is the story still haunts me. It's just that like it's again like it's been so long since I'd played a game like because this was around the time I was no I was still pretty firmly in my RPG phase, and it just like it had been so long. The last game that like stuck with me that way was my favorite RPG of all time, Shadow Hearts. And it's just like
Oh, so you like hitting people with lockers, don't you?
kanji got the trunk
You
though.
like giant himbo vampires that wrench like a school locker off of the wall and start beating people with it. Not bad.
Kanji is great. Kanji.
And killing God, as any
Yes.
true RPG ends with.
Mm-hmm. Except the god
And
was.
yeah, SG Arcade. It is true and also sad. The kanji got no trunk, no corn detected,
Mm-hmm.
no squat rack. The dump truck of corn detected.
Mega Beef Bowl, baby.
It's got the lo-fi Mega Beef Bowl challenge. Rainy days. P4's got the goods. For me, P4 is like Final Fantasy VIII, where it's just so goddamn comfy in Kino that you forgive its eccentricities, and it's easy to make fun of parts because it's like endearing.
Well, like the kanji, like knitting, is just so goddamn like awesome, and I don't know. To take like a traditional masculine type character and then sort of like, I don't know, make him woke AF, Chad move, like, so.
We should have made a beef bowl stretch goal. Interesting.
What would that be? Like I go eat some ramen or something? Like
Nick M thinks it's $20. I appreciate it a lot. Hades Death God with the 69.
nice.
$6.90. Good meme.
Nice.
And Frank B with the double fives. Both hands. TY, VM, all four of you, I appreciate it. And yes, I said 4 because Frank is on there twice. Next and final tier goal, because we're nearing that 2 a.m. mark.
Do I need to make a art an art of this? Like, do I have to screenshot this, or do you have the images ready to go?
I have the thing already.
Oh, nice. Link. Isn't disc again? So close to 65 Hondo.
There's the link.
Duke Nukem. Duke. Is that? Oh no. What is this? This is not Duke Nukem Crash Breaks. What? Am I gonna get a?
Probably shouldn't.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't play this on a charity stream.
This is it was gonna be on my screen for the meme when I was gonna share my screen. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna buy a hat, everyone, and it was gonna be like the top search history on YouTube.
Yeah.
And the meme didn't work with screen capture, so.
All right. This is.
You probably should not click on it.
I don't. I'm not.
All right. I just looked over at the screen. Yeah, Duke Nukem gradually breaks the mind of a cat girl. Probably not Christian safe for Twitch. It was just the best title I've ever seen on YouTube. That's all. Like simply the
yeah,
best
I can see
anything.
the mess. Heywoah can't see them, but I can see them here. So, let me refresh. Messages. We see Hades Death God. Frank B says keep going, $5. Where would this tier list be, place on their list? Oh my god, this is like yo dog. Where would this tier list place on the tier list? Tier list. Also, Meph, you're wrong. P4 best persona, but only because the people and I missed it. I have to switch to the other document, and I'm lazy right now. Only because why Death God? Explain to me so I don't have to export this the CSV file.
Probably because Mega Beef Bowl Challenge thanks Nanako and Yukiko's in it.
Fair enough. Oh yeah, he's the Yukiko stan. Fair enough. It's $5 says it's Yukiko.
Oh, only because the friends we made along the way. Classic.
Yeah.
Actually true.
Yeah.
Big and true.
Yeah, but I like the game to crush my soul a little bit, and it didn't crush my soul too much.
If you go harem route and you get to February 14th, it will crush your soul. Oh, man. in succession, every single girl has their heart broken in front of you and quietly cries when she leaves. It's so brutal. Chie was the worst. It hurt me the most. Little chariot beast claw waifu. All she wants is the meat, the beef bowls, and kung fu movies.
Oh my god. Fantastic.
That game crushed you.
Fuck up, that game crushed me.
Yeah, crushing Chie was real rough. Because she's so self-deprecating about it and accepting immediately. She's like, yeah, I guess the other girls are prettier than me. And just immediately, like, accepting it, and it's so brutal.
Fuck.
Yeah, and when Nanako got kidnapped and you get home for the first time in 114 days in a row, and Nanako doesn't say, welcome home, big bro, it's just silence, and your heart is lit on fire and crushed.
We had to say thanks, Nanako, to ourselves.
Yeah, and we said thanks, Nanako, and it just echoed in an empty house.
Amazing.
Anyway, Heywoah tier list maker. Down here we have Centerpieces tier list, Serial tier list that Andrew Yells wanted, WoW expansions tier list that somebody wanted a long time ago, Final Fantasy tier list that we've just done, monsters in AOS based on their like power level, not looks, as opposed to aesthetics, which is what the first one was. Worst sculpts currently for sale, and I have a picture of the rat ogre right there. The ones with Grand Canyons in between the neck and the shoulders, and the arm and the torso and stuff. We got the sandwich tier list with the king right here, the Ruban. Soda tier list with Pib, Mr. Pib.
Pib extra. I see,
Yeah.
Alexa. Yeah.
The old version of Pib better. Pib extra lesser.
Even old Dr. Pepper was excellent, and then people found out it was prune soda, and they changed it.
Changed their formula
and
and
it's
made it worse.
it's never been good again. It's never.
Then we have the classic old school, downright tournament tier list, right? With Disciples of Zinch right there. And then, of course, this tier list that I'm doing right here, which is the tier list, a picture of the tier list on it. So,
all this for $6,000, everyone. I hope you're pleased.
Let's just go in order.
Okay.
We're not populating.
All right.
We're going in order.
All
the
right.
Centerpiece tier list is S tier.
I can't disagree.
It's not perfect. I could have rated some things a little stronger. And halfway through, we changed what the tiers meant, which you never want to do, but it was still the best.
Yeah, you moved the goalpost a little bit, but it's such the best.
We moved the goalpost a little bit. I felt bad for people, so I said, like, the Terra guys looked okay, and that was a lie. Stuff like that. But it's definitely my most successful tier list.
And there's a performative element of it in the interactivity that is peak like Twitch content, where you're, interacting with the chat and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have we? Is this the first time we've mentioned anything Warhammer related in nearly 2 hours?
Well, no. When you went AFK, I answered some AOS questions.
Almost. Damn.
It was also the best idea for a tier list because the best looking AOS centerpiece is like the most clickbait fucking thing ever, right? It writes itself.
Yeah.
And so it's S tier, even though it's flawed, but it's S tier. Which tier list spawned the Ale Guzzler F tier? That was the first tier list I did. I've always hated the Ale Guzzler sculpt before it was cool. The worst models tier list is an A tier list.
Oh, you're making me jump over. Worst models is with the Rat Ogre.
I'm shaking it up.
A. All right.
Now, it was probably a more fun tier list than this. How awesome does this thing look? The tier list, because we got a chance to laugh every time I went over to Games Workshop website and like showed the the old zombie sculpt, yetis, rat ogres, the ninja rats that look like Christmas cookies. They're so two-dimensional that look like little monkeys with rat tails. It was probably the most fun one to do, but it wasn't the best tier list because it just makes Games Workshop look awful, I suppose. And I never made a proper video about it. But still, it
and
was
like
high
harping on
quality.
the negativity is like fun, but you don't want it to be like anything prescriptive of your content.
Yeah, it's too easy, really.
Too easy. Outrage
the
mercantile, like
Yeah, and also like the general internet community doesn't need like more reasons to shit on AOS. Because they currently have a bunch, even though they're wrong about most of them. But this would
well,
be like a correct one.
it makes it hard to have the correct shitting on AOS moments because you're just one of those negative people, and you're like, no, like this one's actually like important, like they don't pay their employees enough. like
Right.
like this one, like, all right, you're right, no, like, yeah, like dragons are bad, but like the employee thing, all right, sorry.
Sandwich tier list S, easy.
Easy. Ooh, all right, yeah.
Easy.
If these aren't all just
Sandwich tier
varying
list
degrees
was
of
the
S
shit.
and A, I'm gonna be a little disappointed.
Well, I'm grading myself. You know the meme when you and the boys, when the teacher tells you to grade yourselves, and it's got those like North Korean dudes with like 7 million like military awards on their jackets. You can't even see cloth underneath them. Yeah, the sandwich tier list was S tier. That shit was Kino. It was like we talked about sandwiches for like 2.5 hours, and everyone
Big fan.
had fun. We're just like, this sandwich is so good. Agree. We all have great opinions. It was basically that for like 2
Like the
hours.
most like just like mission accomplished, like high fiving like a successful NASA launch, the content stream, like
I did shit on egg salad sandwich. Yeah, it's true. Like I said, we had the correct opinions about things, and there wasn't really much pushback. So that's easy S tier for sure.
Yeah.
Cereal tier list. Actually, I'm gonna say B.
Okay.
It was all right. There were just a whole bunch of like pure sugar kid cereals that I'd never had before, and then I quickly determined that most of the cereals on there I've had like once ever, and I don't really eat cereal a lot. But cinnamon toast crunch was S tier.
Your CT crunch at the top and Reese's for breakfast, baby. Reese's
Reese's for
Puff
breakfast
cereal.
was somewhere like C or something.
What?
Like yeah, and it covers your mouth in wax, like when Homer drinks the candle, so he can eat a spicy pepper. That's Reese's for me. Although I've only had it like once, so. But I think we can all agree cinnamon toast crunch is based.
Yeah. Based and red pilled, right? Like
Based and cereal and morning pilled.
Yeah.
Cereal pilled, I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
WoW expansion tier list. Actually, I would say WoW expansion tier list was a B tier. It's above the cereal tier list.
Okay.
Because this one was just facts. Like there were no. It was so easy.
Ooh,
it was
crunch
the
pilled.
easiest one.
I like it.
Crunch pill. There you go.
Yeah, crunch pilled. Yeah. Based and crunch pilled.
Yeah, the WoW expansion tier list was B tier just because it was so easy for me. You really didn't have to think about it very much. It was classic WoW in S tier as simply the greatest MMO that was ever made, and nothing was even close.
Mm-hmm.
And then Burning Crusade in A tier. And then everything else in like D tier with an asterisk that's like their raids and class balance were good, but everything else was shit. And then BFA, Shadowlands, Warlords of Draenor, like all that just in actual trash, like fucking trash, garbage tier, all the way up until Shadowlands retail.
Yeah, at least we found out like
Just
that the
the
Draenor.
lowest of the low. You're scraping roadkill off the road with a snow shovel and throwing it in a pile, and it lands next to Shadowlands.
The dungeons were probably
BFA.
great because the women made them, and the men were hungover for making the rest of the fucking lazy ass shit content. So
No, everything was bad.
Oh, well, there you go.
The women were doing like 3 people's work worth of stuff. but you can't really make quality stuff when you're doing that. And the orders they were given, like this is what you should do, right? Like I'm a game designer and I'm telling you what to do. Like they were telling them to do bad things, and then they did a bad job on doing bad things that they were supposed to do or forced to do. And so it's pure trash. Actually embarrassing for a company of their size to have a game as bad as Retail WoW.
Yeah, I mean, don't take my freedom to like kill myself with horrible things that shouldn't be legal, from me, right? Like the reclassified Subway bread as pastries in Ireland due to the sugar content. Yeah, so
Mr. Pandaria is S tier, am I right? I mean, Mr. Pandaria had the best class balance they've ever had, and Throne of Thunder was one of the best raids. Everything else was garbage, though. So it ended up in like D tier. Yeah, Legion was C. Although I'm calling Legion a C while giving them a pass on basically the first 3 months of the expansion, because acquiring legendaries was shit and the first raid was shit.
see, you guys are talking about
Well,
all
it
these
got
games or all these expansions that came out after I already beat the game. Like, see, I beat Arthas,
Yeah.
and then like the credits rolled, and I was done. Like,
Right, but here's
because I killed Arthas, and then like the credits rolled, and I was like mission accomplished.
all right. Positron Star, Nuclear Take,
Yeah.
Wrath of the Lich King was trash.
Yeah, no, it wasn't good. But
Alduar was great, except for the tank part, and every other thing in Wrath of the Lich King was shit.
Oblivion! Come on, like that was great.
Well, yeah, Cooking Mama was fun
Yeah.
for the off tank.
I think at that time I was still busting my way up
Wrath.
from off tank to main tank so that I could get the lazy job. See, like off tank does all the hard work, but you want main tank so you can be lazy. Like
Yeah, it depends on if you want exciting gameplay or not.
no, you want the exciting
You do
gameplay at
not.
first, but eventually you just want to like be able to like just have everything bound to your like 18 button mouse and just like be sipping a big gulp while you play just only on your mouse with like a 16 button like threat rotation as a paladin. It was the greatest, but also the worst. And again, I said in WoW, like if I ever kill Arthas, I was done. I'm like, I'm only playing this because I hate Arthas.
The Arthas fight was cool. The rest of that raid I hated.
I
hated
hate
it.
the fucking poison dudes that throw the fucking bombs and try to get people to stack up on a single human.
Putricide.
Oh my fucking god! I've never
Every
been
fight was
angrier
like-
at
It was
stupid
just
people
like frustrating.
in my life. It was the easiest fight, and people were just idiots over and over in a good guild for many intents and purposes. I've never been more
You're right.
frustrated.
Mindless elf indulgence with
Yep.
all blood elves was indeed a great guild.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, mindless elf.
Very true.
Yeah.
And then there was Cataclysm, where they decided to wipe the slate clean and like kind of start over, which was a great idea, except they got rid of all the good stuff by accident and then put bad stuff in, which is kind of the opposite. But they started with a good idea. They just totally failed from like the next step, and Cataclysm was crap, and then the rest of them were kind of bad. And went in that bad direction, where they started obsessing about usage statistics and metrics, and coming up with a bunch of systems for systems they used to have that were great, and then they're like, we need a new one for no reason, and it's going to be worse and more complicated. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy one.
Lord Whale, Arthas did after like the curtains actually opened afterwards, and like Arthas and Uther and like they all got up there and like, remember how much like Warhammer was formative for you? You used to sneak onto your friend's dad's laptop to play Warhammer when you were over at his house, Warcraft. Like, do you remember how much you hated Arthas as basically one of the worst characters ever, but people liked him just because he was edgy, and that was during the period where anyone was obsessed with anything edgy, and it kind of ruined it for you. Do you remember how much you hated him and his whole character arc? And how vindicated you felt when you destroyed him? Now listen to us shred this fine guitar one last time. And then the credits played, the curtains closed, all the characters took a bow that I had loved all the years, and I walked away from from Warcraft for the most part, except for like 1 month with my bros in vanilla, and then everyone disappeared because they all were just on fucking different servers, and I'm like, okay, well, you can never go home again, right? So
And then they came out with Ruby Sanctum after you killed Arthas, but no one played it because everyone quit.
no, like Arthas was that is I made a
That
promise
was
to
the end.
myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made a promise to
Yeah,
myself.
they reworked the entire overworld, which was indeed a Herculean task, but they replaced the old world with something that was less fun and less interesting.
Well, they also got rid of like some of the charm that they didn't understand in their own game. Part of the charm was in exploring sort of like the places you're not supposed to go. You know, like level 1 priest exploration to get across fatigue water and like go on Dev Island and shit when it was still in the game. Like all that stuff was fun. Getting into like Mount Hyjal by like glitching through the wall where it was and then seeing the under construction signs with all the goblin equipment all over, like that
Yeah,
shit
we
was
took a
fun.
screenshot there before they took the server down. That was a great one. I
Yeah,
still have it somewhere, I think.
like seeing the flight path where they put in assets just for the flight paths and there was like actually nothing in between there, but then figuring out a way to trick it with like little floaty feather quest items that you could only get like from the one class, and you just had 5 of them, so you had 5 shakes to try to make it work to get to like the little place where you see the dwarves doing shit, and then if you didn't, you had to restart a character and get the quest again and try again. Like that shit was awesome, and they're like, nah man, fuck this, like no fun allowed, like you go where we fucking want you to, here are the rails, and also we're taking in all the interesting things. I don't
Yeah,
know.
and we're gonna systematically and slowly over time remove everything that makes it an MMO and have it be more of like a single player where other people happen to be there sometimes. Anyway, Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Tier list. I liked the Final Fantasy tier list. I got to throw a bunch of hot takes out there.
Yeah.
You know, one of those there I said it sort of things.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking Final Fantasy thing, A tier underneath the Rado account.
Nice. I like it.
That was a good one. That was a nice one.
Yeah.
And a lot of people donated during that. It's not bad.
Not bad. Yeah.
The monster quality tier list, unfortunately, is C tier.
Is this the
Because
one
I
with
did it.
Gotrek?
Yeah, because I did the monster quality tier list, and then third edition came out, and none
Just
of it's relevant
didn't
anymore
age, yeah.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
And so it was immediately useless. Soda tier list, also C tier, because it happened to be that the soda tier list that I was given didn't like have the proper quality and quantity of sodas on there. Didn't have original Pib, didn't have Baja Blast, like wasn't. Yeah.
What? No Baja Blast? It's like I said during the Pepsi Milk stuff. It's the only soda I actually drink anymore. Like I've done a pretty good job of like cutting soda out my diet, and I have a weakness for that sweet like food science beverage when I'm eating the spiciest of tacos.
Right, but never any other time.
No, never. It only with like a quesadilla.
No, it's like a wine complemented with what you're eating.
When you get the quesadilla and you've got the extra spice, you get a little of that extra like.
What pairs well with this, Loca Chupa that I've just ordered?
Yeah,
that would be a Baja Blast, sir.
Yeah. He comes up with
bring
like
the bottle. Thanks.
like he's got the towel like draped over his arm, and he like comes over with like the fucking.
The old tier list.
Mm-hmm.
I think this thing was actually pretty successful.
Yeah.
People weren't doing tier lists in Age of Sigmar before I did it, and that might not be a good thing.
The army tier list, like you did kind of like.
I did.
You even got the program,
that.
and you kind of started it like
and it started getting used by AOS Coach on his website, and other people started doing tier lists. Probably not a good thing because it opened up the floodgate to a type of information that most people are going to use wrong. But hey, sometimes you just want to watch the world burn. A tier, easy.
A tier, yeah. Above, where are we going? Middle?
Above Final Fantasy.
All right, sounds good.
Culturally significant, top of A tier.
Yeah. Yeah, really like sort of breaking ground with it.
Also, Luke Stone just himself was on the.
That
I had a picture of Scourge Privateers.
Yeah.
And it just said Luke Stone.
Yeah, that was fun.
And then the tier list. It's pretty nice, actually. I'm thinking A.
Yeah.
I'm thinking A right underneath the tier list.
Yeah.
Because it gets a little bonus points for being meta. It's grading itself, right? It's a hypercube.
Yeah. Chat agrees.
So A tier, yeah.
Yeah, Chat Gang agrees. A tier firmly.
Nothing is D tier and nothing is trash because we don't do that.
Yeah. You gotta run you gotta run you gotta run calibrations and like self scout sometimes. It's important to do a tier list of your tier lists.
It was derivative
Derivative.
just got, but it was ironically derivative, and that's the key. You have to prove that you know the rules so you can break them. There you have it. I hope you got your money's worth. Appreciate.
Just respect the hustle, everybody.
I'm keen for the buy this hat too. I needed a new hat. I only have 6 people doing hats off all the fucking time.
Yeah.
I put a cooldown on hats off because people like to spam 3 of them in a row. And I'm like, what am I, some clown, some monkey who's just going to take off and put on a hat 3 times in a row? Mm-mm. Not this Beardo opinion, man. I'm putting a cooldown on it. You got to lay down the law. You can't let chat get too much power.
Yeah, that's the mistake I made early, I suppose. Snitbag. Let's see, we got a Chrono Trigger. Where we go? Read some things here, and then we'll get the next guest in. Keep it going. Snitbag Stonks. Snitbag S tier. Tears of Power. Thanks for the $5. Snitbag Serial Killer for Life. Serial Thriller. What was that? Prodigy?
It'll be Serial Thriller.
Yeah, it was Serial Thriller. Yeah.
Actually.
No, I said Thriller.
Okay.
I transitioned. No, I said Killer initially upon reading it, and then I transitioned into Thriller to make the reference. Can't Stop, Womp Stomp, 5. So Snitbag just popping off with a bunch of donos. Bringing us to Keep It Up, Peeps. DJ Push Start, thank you so much for the $5. Dan Caravan, sorry it's bedtime for me. Almost. Let me just donate to get up to $50 just in case I can't do it tomorrow. $19. Thank you so much for the donation. Shankleton's got to grab some Z's, but keep up the good work. Thank you so much for the $5. All right, I'll get these draws done, y'all.
Are we drawn?
Yeah, we're gonna do some draws, y'all.
Nice. What are these people they're redeeming? Remind everyone for 1,000.
That chat gang ain't nothing to fuck with.
Oh, your things are called Relentless Discipline. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Relentless Discipline.
I was about to ask what your double turns are called. I got people spending 2,000 double turns, which in a vacuum seems really strong. My channel points sound OP.
Where was I?
Lord Whale, give it a tier 1 sub to Dinma. Appreciate. Hey. Thanks for the gifter. Appreciate it a lot. Every little bit counts. As you know, all the donations are going to charity, but subbing is kind of nice. And if you have Amazon Prime, if you have given Daddy Bezos yet more money so that he can fly into space on a penis, he will give you $5 for free that you can only spend on Twitch Prime. It's free for you, asterisk. It's not free, you bought it. But if you don't use it, it's gone. And so, I mean, why waste it?
Right.
It's going to help people rate FF9 correctly. Oh, you think it should have been under Final Fantasy XI? I mean, maybe. Because at least Final Fantasy XI had the meme of being, like, super grindy, and it had the cross-play between PS2 and PC. So I guess I could put FF9 in a lower tier of trash. But I feel like that's being unfair. I would no longer be objective. It's objectively trash, but it's not, like, lower than trash, you know?
All right.
Dinma gifted a sub to Tarkin Rex. Hey, he passed it forward. The system works. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. He was given a sub, and he passes it forward.
All right, where'd my RNG thing?
Bezos is on the cock meta. True. He's handing out victory point pinatas, a.k.a. non-hero monsters with 5-up saves. You're just asking. You're begging them to take your VPs. It sounds like almost a quote from Glengarry Glen Ross, actually. They're trying to give you their money. So you take it.
All right, first draw, we're going to do the... we'll go with the... where is my master list here? With the Warhammer Quest box set. That was provided by... hang on, I'm going to shout out here. Doing competitive... Of the whole, like, I have a shit ton of... This is all the... Hang on. All right, where was I? The TheDiceMustFlow, YouTube. Here, we'll go ahead and throw this link in here. This is the Warhammer Quest box. This is the person that donated those. So he asked that I shout him out. I can be bought. I have never been shy about that.
Step right up. Bring your wallets.
So much easier to have morality when you're rich. All right, here we go. Did the first roll is for the Warhammer.
You can afford to.
Mm-hmm. Snitbag wins the Warhammer Quest stuff. And I was wise to your multiple entries too there, Snit, so I caught you. I screened him out, but...
The man will not be screened.
Snitbag Warhammer Quest set. So enjoy your Warhammer Quest. Next up, we got the borders. There's 2 of these, so I'm going to roll twice. If you haven't seen these things, they're really sweet. Keep burying all my links. Dark Elf Sorceress. Congratulations, Tanya. Border 1. And then border 2. Is Exalted Griff wins a table border.
A table border? What's that?
I will show the pics in a second.
Oh, nice.
And then
show pics.
And then TTS. This is you, Heywoah. That is. Where is it? CJ Ubusta won that one.
Ooh. CJ Ubusta, slide into these DMs on Twitter, and we'll set up a TTS for the show.
So.
CJ Ubusta.
Yeah, so.
Busting his way into Tabletop Simulator to play against some ogres.
And
then... the big gifter himself. True, yeah. The
yeah.
Texas Oil Baron.
Yeah.
Saudi Prince.
Yeah. one of 2 of the Texas Oil Barons. Like we've got dual. There's double Jennies. We got double Barons.
Mm-hmm. Double Bennies.
Mm-hmm. All right. Regarding these table borders, go ahead and turn this monitor back on. So there you guys see. I'm going to blot out my own face here for a second. So there you go. So he got these little laser cut things that go around your standard size table, and they drop it down to the proper size for the game. They also have these quality of life reminders on what your heroic actions and monstrous your bestial moves are, right? The little like slots for your like army cards, and then your little dice tracking for like turn, victory points, army resource 1, army resource 2. Super handy. Hang on here. Can I find?
Oh, cool.
Here. So yeah, they're super cool, but I criticized his design a little bit. When I
You don't like the dovetail?
No, I think it can be improved. Like we can do better. Where is it?
Noobs TY for the $10, appreciated, as well as Match for the 5. Lord Whale 569, meme number, good one, and Other Mofo for $5. TY,
Meme number, nice.
all 4 of you, appreciate, as well as Vanilla Sauce with 25 burgers and just gut for the 5. Hey, big donuts all. Thanks a lot.
Where did I save it to? Probably RC Thumbs. I always accidentally save shit in there, huh?
Yeah, Scarred Brand in picture, incandescently raging as always. He's about to slap shit for 1 turn.
I can't find it. I photoshopped me like sitting at the table holding a beer with a coaster.
And then that improves the picture.
Yeah. It was a bad Photoshop. I enjoy bad Photoshops as an art form.
All right, it is a big table, by the way. Big table.
Yeah, so there's 2 of those.
Any big tables in the chat right now?
And then here we go. Uh-oh. We get double Joel action. Uh-oh. All right.
Kyle Knapp thanks for the $5, and Ty Topfer as well for the $5. Appreciate it for both.
All right. Man.
Donation is going to a good cause.
So regarding the giveaways that are going to happen for this and the next block, do you want me to give you my login for Tiltify? Because that's about, I think, all I can think to do for you being able to.
So I can read
the comments or whatever, or do the giveaway, or I can do the giveaway when I get up at 6, and just do 2 blocks. What do you think?
Let's see. I feel like it's probably better if I'm just going to pay attention to the donations in the upper left, and if you got like a comment, type it out and I'll read it, and then when Meph gets back, he's going to do all the rolls. Everybody will win this stuff.
Okay.
Their comments will be read and things like that.
Okay.
SG Arcade, Mickle, both $5. Thanks a lot, both of you guys. Appreciate it. TYVM, my dudes.
All right. And then this prize block, we got the Mega Gargant.
You don't have to actually be here to win. If somebody wants to go to bed
at
5 o'clock or something, and
I email all the winners at the end of the event.
Yeah, it's no big deal.
Yeah, no big. I email all the winners. It's it's part of the event to see the live thing. If this gets big enough or too unwieldy enough, we might do the giveaways, just kind of like do the rolls for those off. Who knows what the future holds for this event. I'm just content to raise a bunch of money for a good cause. And
Anzo, thanks for the $5. Appreciate it. TY. Good fight, good night. SJK's working on donating the most money over the whole stream. A valiant goal. Appreciate.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll be able to. I'll probably do for one of the RantCast back, or just as a separate show. I'll run the numbers so people know the average donor per individual donator. The average donation amount total, including the whales. Just not counting unique type things. What the top single donation was, which is, obvious right there, and who donated the most, or all the EPeen stuff, right? We'll get all the EPeen stuff measured.
Yeah. And we'll get any like special comments read. Greetings from Germany, long time watcher, first time donator. The whole meme.
Yeah.
God damn it! I went back to fucking Discord. Fucking Duke Nukem.
Grab rocket here. Man,
that custom Duke Nukem stuff, it just fucking gets me.
That's the soundboard, right? Almost.
Yeah, some voice actor that like puts like shitty encoding over it, so it sounds like it's from Duke 3D.
Yeah.
And they just say stuff like "I'm Duke Nuke them" and just like fucking absolutely stupid stuff.
I'll have to check it out.
It's one of those infectious laughter things. Like it's unrelentingly stupid and wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish I could find like just that, but I've only found this weird like VTuber cat girl like reacting to it. I haven't found the original. I haven't really looked, to be honest. I don't want the FBI knowing all of my search histories. Let's be honest. Some of them are more dangerous than others. Whatever FBI agent is watching and reading all my searches, I'm typing away at my little computer. All right, Duke Nukem breaks the mind of a cat girl. All right, fucking knock at the door. FBI, open up.
We're still having issues with them getting in here. The two things is, obviously reboot. And if you're on the web browser base, try switching. You guys use Discord for your shit, though.
Yeah, Red Mage is sick. Talking rights. I briefly played with some other people on some other server of Final Fantasy, like a side server, and I got a Red Mage up to like 70 or something last expansion. It was really fun. But in Final Fantasy, like your rotations are so goofy, like it's hard to jump back in.
Oh my god. I love Dragoon rotation. It was so much fun. And like I know it's bad. Like they call it the floor tank or whatever. But
it's only the floor tank because they get themselves killed all the time. It's not because they do bad damage.
Oh, they do good damage?
They're a utility class, so they're giving a buff to the raid.
Yeah, then that's all I need. Because I'll be playing piano and having the most fun ever.
Like Samurai Black Mage are the ones that blast the hardest, obviously. Like pure damage wise.
Do they just like Aijitsu the whole time? Because that would also be fun.
You do have an Aijitsu move where you like sheath your katana and charge your laser, and then blast. Like you build up to it. The samurai rotation is actually pretty sweet.
Ooh.
Black Mage technically does more damage theoretically, but if you move a single time, like your damage becomes bad, and so the Black Mage is like 7,000 Seraphon Slan IQ have to like know the exact fight and figure out the one place in the room to stand so that you never need to move and stuff like that. And it's really difficult, but technically they do the most damage if they're amazing.
Yeah. Are you is your main Black Mage samurai?
No, warrior, or warrior / marauder, and I have a Black Mage alt. Well, it's not an alt. You have different jobs for there are no such thing as alts in Final Fantasy 14. You just switch your weapon and become a different class, which is actually sweet.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, hey.
I have a red mage of a black mage.
I heard
main is a warrior.
I heard Joel, one of the Joels for a second.
I can talk in this way, but I have no
camera.
Freaking camera on this computer. Is that alright?
Seems fine if we're having trouble with the other stuff.
I don't know, man. We were talking in the other room for like 20 minutes. No problem. Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
Well, if you go into the other room, we could potentially go in the other room, and if it was working back there, I don't know what's going on here. It's weird.
Australian internet, man. Useless.
Upside down.
Going on, fellas?
What is this? Joel McGrath, and who's the other one?
Joel Graham. You double Joels.
Joel Graham, double Jolies. Not bad.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah, like double Jenny meta got nothing on double Joel meta. Probably the Measured Gaming, probably the best competitive club in Australia. Others might have different takes, but For my
Not probably is.
is yeah. I was trying to temper it in case like someone was gonna come at me with the spice. Like, what do you mean the best? But
So the other opinions are just like how far ahead they are, really.
like,
can you guys hear me okay, or am I too quiet?
no, I can turn you up a bit here. You sound good on my end, but
Sounds good.
Cool. I mean, the proof is in the results, right?
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
Yeah. And you won the knife fight, so you're Joel Prime, and the Joel who's not talking right now is like the club president or whatever. But we know
He
the
only
truth.
founded the club. Don't worry about him.
Yeah, we know the truth. He can't talk right now, so like it just like throwing shade and being a dick.
I don't know. Do you want to try the other room? Cause
Yeah, let's
we'll
try
have a
the
good
other
old-
room. Let's try the other room quick. Go pop back in there, and we'll do that.
You guys have a chat here, and I'll see if I can get him working in the other room.
Yeah. That's weird. I've never seen it work room specifically. What the fuck is Discord even?
Simple Math's got the lead. I don't know. I have no opinions about the OS meta. I don't know anything about it.
Oh,
So
they just win
they
the
said
most
they're-
events. Like their club just tends
Oh
to
well,
yeah.
fair enough.
to just
The deals cast $10. Appreciate it. My Klept 100 burgers. Fucking huge, dude. TY. VM for the huge donation, as well as Greedy Raven for the $5.
tie with another shot at a Mega Gargant. This is a comment.
Another shot at the Mega G. Not
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
Very, very generous, all of you. Appreciate it a lot. What do we got? What do we got now? 67.05 and 59 cents.
Distracted.
59 cents. Anybody have 10 cents? 59 cents just doesn't sit right with me.
Pop in on these guys.
There might be a minimum. There might be a minimum that you can donate, so maybe not 10 cents, but yeah, it's JRK. 100 burgers, huge. Can't say you're the most competitive player, but you play BCR at every event you've been to. A legend, if I've heard of one.
This is the way. Like, find your passion, live
it
your
is known.
passion.
This is the way. Yeah.
60. So we hit the 65 Hondo. I'm gonna have to do the RantCast and Rainbow Dash cosplay. So thank you all for that,
Sir,
and
you
thank
need
you
to-
so much whoever suggested it. I believe that was Travis wanted that one in there in the secret stretch goals. So,
You gotta add like a final cut or something to these.
What do you mean?
You know, final cut like in the contract of a film, where sometimes the director gets final cut, which means
I have veto.
no
I
final
vetoed a
say,
couple.
and
I vetoed
okay,
a couple.
okay.
I vetoed a couple. There were a couple where I was like, no, I'm not doing that.
You let Rainbow Dash cosplay through. I'm terrified. What you vetoed?
Yeah. Yeah.
Must have been like a line item veto, like a Bill Clinton.
Yeah. No, there was some stuff. There was some shit. And there were like things where they wanted to like include other people. There was some real like Schadenfreude like juice going on where people just really wanted to see some suffering. And I'm like, wow, okay.
Yeah, but you can't really like
Can't rope others into your
surprise-
madness.
well,
Like, yeah.
you can't like surprise rope other people in who's like, oh yeah, all these people want you to do this. I'm like, what?
You know, I can't remember. I'll go back and like check the VODs. Here, let me check in on the other Joels or the Joels real quick.